Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. Okay, so at the bottom of the deck for the work category is the Page of Wands. So this page is a very fiery, enthusiastic energy with lots of sort of creativity and motivation, but isn't quite sure, doesn't have the finesse to direct it in the way the king or queen would. And pages often represent newness and messages. So you may be discussing new ideas you have about work, how to improve, how to do the work you're currently doing, or it may be a message about a new job coming in. Shows an underlying theme of just having a lot of sort of restless energy that you need to find a way to direct, and you're just not quite finding the outlet in which to do that. But this does also mean that there may be some information coming that's going to help you figure out how to direct that. Okay, so here's the Nine of Swords. So this may be the frustration you feel of not being able to find the outlet for that Page of Wands. It may be manifesting itself in the Nine of Swords. So this card is sort of obsessing and worrying and frustration. You know, it can keep you up at night and you're just like, oh my God, like say you're in a job where people are just, you see very clearly. And this is the other thing about, they're extremely creative and they can see sort of the big picture, and they really have a knack for just knowing how to get things done. And that's why they can stay motivated and enthusiastic long after other people have sort of given up, because they can see how it can work if you can just stay motivated. And they're able to keep people motivated, but not everyone around them stays motivated, and that can create a lot of frustration because it's just like seems so obvious to you guys. So it's just like, oh my God, just you're just doing, you know, it's like people never quite follow through the whole way. And then they're like, see, it doesn't work. But you can see that, well, if you could just do it, tweak it a little different way, or just keep following it through and don't give up, you know, you do see the solution. So that can definitely create tension and frustration in a job situation. Yeah, I'm just sensing a lot of frustration in the workplace. So the Five of Pentacles, I call it the victim mentality card, but it comes when you feel like you're being shut out. So perhaps your ideas are just falling on deaf ears. Perhaps you have a boss that is very uncomfortable with change or has been there a long time. So change could be threatening to them because they've been doing things a certain way and maybe established certain processes that are being used, and they don't feel comfortable changing them because they're taking it personally instead of looking at the good of the whole company. So you're feeling very shut out and just sort of like helpless, like, well, you know, I'm trying to make a difference here and no one will listen. I'm being shut out. But there is a caveat to this card that there usually is someone who is there for you or listening. So try not to let your frustration get the best of you and slip into this a negative, you know, no one listens to me. I know I can do this myself. You know, no one's listening. No, you know, it's so, you know, try not to project your frustrations. Try not to announce or let everyone know. It's very difficult. So I'm not preaching at you. I don't know. You know, if you have good suggestions on how to do that, please put them in the comments. But I do think my sense is someone notices and someone knows. And pentacles are often about a process. It's a slower, like things have to sort of go through a process. So it may be that they're sort of giving someone enough rope to hang themselves and sort of letting them the time to show that what's been happening currently is not working, but it has to go through that process before they can make way for newness. Yeah. And that's exactly what this card is about. The Seven of Pentacles is about things being a process. So it's very hard to have patience when you have all this Page of Wands pent up energy down below and things are stagnant at your job. It's extremely difficult. So that may be why you're looking for a new job or looking for a way to, an outlet for all your ideas and such. And this card says sometimes there's a process going on and you can't rush it. And that's super hard because we're very, and we're just like, come on, let's go, let's go, let's go. We can do it. We're motivated. We just want to move, move, move. So this sort of goes against our, our fiery energy. This card says the best way to describe this card is the analogy is of a farmer planting a seed. So there are many things you can do to that seed to give it the best chance to grow into the most fruitful plant. However, good soil, the right amount of sunlight, the right amount of moisture, fertilizer, etc., all that stuff. But it still takes, there's still a period of time it takes to grow, and no amount of begging it or stressing and worrying about it or feeling depressed that it's not growing as fast as you want. You may have a business that's not showing fruit, it's not being as fruitful or that's not the right word, successful, or the profits aren't there as fast as you would like. But it may be that there's just amount of time for this business idea or this business to grow, and no amount of wishing or hoping or begging or pressuring other people or getting pissed off is still not going to change the fact that there is a process. It's like a baby growing inside its mother. It takes a certain amount of time and you can't rush it. It's impossible. So try to have some patience in the fact that there may be a process going on here, and that it would be best to maybe sort of hone your ideas, write these ideas down, or just be crafting so that when the time is ready to jump, and I think by the end of the month you guys will be getting the green light, you're prepared. So you're not, because sometimes I think also us fire signs, depending on the rest of your chart, I'm not an astrologer, but if you have, I'm a double fire sign. I'm rising and sun sign Sagittarius. So I am just like, let's go. And usually I'm pretty actually organized and prepared. However, it never hurts to use that extra time to really cross your T's and dot your I's. Okay, let's check out. Okay, so the bottom of the deck is the High Priest, or the Hierophant in the traditional tarot. So, this is sort of I don't know if it's a controversial card, but there's many different interpretations. So the traditional interpretation is tradition. A tradition, think of just one of our core religions and how it's, it's fairly rigid and ritualized, and there are sacraments and you do this, and the rules are very clearly spelled out, right? So I think when this card comes up in a relationship category, you have to look at, are you following in your relationship? This is under the deck. So are you feeling sort of this tug, this push and pull, or this conflict within you regarding your relationships, of whether they should be, okay, you ask them out on a few dates and then you kiss and then you date for exactly a year and a half, and then you ask someone to get engaged, and then there's a societal sort of traditional way that you go about a relationship. The guy asks the girl out, all that minutia. But maybe in your heart you're like, I'm not sure if I want to get married, or I want to live with someone first. I don't want to get engaged first because I don't I think I need to live with someone to know if we're really compatible, or maybe I don't want maybe I want to be alone. Maybe I'm not sure I even want to ever get married. And you may be getting some unknowingly, not people don't try to give you pressure or be critical of your lifestyle on purpose. I don't think some people will, but maybe you're feeling, just that, oh, you're going to have kids, oh, you better hurry up and get married, that stupid stuff I'm sure I've said it plenty of times myself. But so really, I would say look down into your heart and soul and figure out, what what you think is important and what you think makes a good relationship and will fit into your lifestyle. I see this card more as you can find spiritual guidance in many, many different places. And it's sure, it could be if you're, follow an organized religion, the leader of that religion or whoever leads your church or synagogue or, whatever you go to. But it could also be this person standing next to you in the grocery line. My son comes out with the most profound things, and just I'm like, oh my God, like that's like a life-changing thought. Kids are amazing at that. Or a song lyric. I mean, you never know what could hit you, and it can just be like, it can just really get to you and stick to you. I'm obsessed with the singer Trevor Hall. In fact, I have a Trevor Hall t-shirt on right now. And if you go and look up there's a video series from the making of his album, The Chapter of the Forest. And if you look up the one about the song Wish Man, he explains how he came to write that song. I feel like it's very much the energy of the high priest. He randomly runs into this homeless person when he's out walking along, and he almost ignored him because he yelled, "Hey, wish man, what's your wish?" And he kind of almost ignored him. But then he went up to him and he's like, "Excuse me, what?" And he was wearing this shirt that said wish. And the homeless man was like, your shirt, "Hey, wish man, what's your wish? If you could have one thing in this life, what would that be?" And he said he was just kind of floored because it was just like this, wow, this incredibly profound, like, what would I wish for, And the guy said, "Hey, look around and then, close your eyes. All we got is what's going on right here, right now." And so you never know when one of those types of situations, and maybe you're going to meet someone in sort of the most unusual way. So love is definitely on your mind. We have the Lovers card. I'll put a link to Trevor's Wishman in the bottom if I remember. So the Lovers card is an interesting card. I feel like this choice theme, like how are you making some decisions about your relationships? Are you going to go the traditional way, the non-traditional way? The Lovers card, yes, it's about love. So you may meet someone where you're thinking this could be one of those relationships this week, but you're torn for some reason. I sense this I can't even put conflict, internal conflict I'm feeling. So the Lovers card is, yes, about lovers, but I always like to explain it that when you get married to someone, you stand up in front of your friends if you go the traditional way and say "I do" in front of everyone, but that's like the least important thing you do in your marriage, in your relationship. This card is about the choices you make every day. Every day you make tons of tiny little choices where you either honor the things you supposedly make a commitment to or not. So if you say, your relationship is your biggest priority, that's one of your biggest commitments, yet you're always choosing to flirt with someone else or to go out with the guys or girls after work or to spend time out in the garage with your car instead of, spending some time with your significant other, look how your choices, if your choices are really backing up the commitment, if you're walking the walk, so to speak. And I guess if you're not, then explore that. Like, why not? And this could be not even pertaining just to relationships. If I'm really into my health, but you tend to sit on the couch instead of go out for a walk. Are you really committed to health or not? And why not? And sometimes just thinking about it that way can really bring up some things to explore and think about. So here we have the Page of Pentacles. So we have the Page of Wands in the work category. The Page of Pentacles. Pentacles are earthy things: house, home, family, health, spirituality. It can also be work. And they're very grounded and slow moving. The page, so this is a message about house, home, all those categories I just said, but it's come up here in the relationship category. So this could be after sort of pondering the high priest, what is your idea, and this is your life. What do relationships mean to you? What do you think about them? And then pondering the Lover's card. Am I really committing to my relationships? And I think after some of that soul searching, this card points to sort of new beginnings and how you, like, practical ways that you approach your relationships. Perhaps it's just, this is a very methodical type of suit. So this would be sort of planning a date night, planning, am I really taking care of my family the way I should? Starting retirement plan, really practical things. So you may come to the realization, I may have thought I was doing all this, but I'm not. So I'm going to do something really practical and tangible to explore if I'm honoring my commitments. And it could be just a way, it may not even be that you're necessarily totally committing to your relationship, but it's like you're really examining it to say, hey, am I really into this or not? But here you are going to make some changes. So this is a slow process. You're really, even though we don't have any swords out here, you're really thinking about this. You do have two major arcana, so that's really inward spiritual soul searching. And you're going to start to slowly make some changes in the home. This is a positive card, but it could mean letting go of a relationship because you're like, if I'm not honoring this relationship, why am I still in it? And so you're going to make changes either to honor it more or come to the realization that you're not honoring it because it isn't a priority. For some reason, it's not working. So I do see a lot of sort of energy and sort of really looking at your life in a practical way, both in work and in your relationships, to try to make sure things are matching. Are my wants and desires or my priorities really what I'm putting my attention towards? If I have all this creativity at work, but I'm feeling blocked, well, do I want to stay there? If I'm in this relationship, but I'm not sure if I'm in it for the right reasons, am I just in it because it's what tradition says? Or is it really feeding my soul? It's that type of energy that I'm feeling for you guys. So I feel like this is a really long video now. I think I'm going to let this go. There's some pretty big messages coming through for you guys. Yeah, so I'm just going to leave it at that. I hope you have a really wonderful month, and I'll see you at the next video. Thank you.